Today is finally the day where we fix some of the things that have been bugging me about my M4. As you guys know, this car came with a PSM style rear spoiler, and it has this little crack in it, and I can't stand it. Then if we take a look up front here, a lot of things on this car are carbon besides this front lip. And that is where these new parts come in, and we're gonna make this car look completely different. So we've got a new PSM style rear spoiler, and then this is a competition style front carbon fiber lip. And I think that this will be a lot more aggressive than the ones on the car right now. And it's also carbon fiber. So we do kind of already know how this is gonna look on the car because, well, it's basically on it right now. There's just a little bit of damage on it. And I definitely like this more than the M Performance one that used to be on this car. Actually came with this car from the factory, and the previous owner actually gave it to me in case I ever wanted to put it back on the car. But this is the perfect amount of aggressive, and it goes perfectly well with what this car is all about. Now this front lip is what I am the most excited for because, like we said, the one on the car is just FRP. It's not true carbon fiber, and this one looks a lot more aggressive than what's on the car right now. I think this is gonna be a lot easier than taking the spoiler off. Let's get started on this first. I am a little nervous about it, but I think it'll go perfectly well.
So here we are with the blow dryer trying to heat up the glue that is underneath this rear spoiler so we can pull it loose. And I wanted to go ahead and tape off where it lines up on the bumper just so that way we have a reference for when the new one gets put on. Heating it up one last time just to make sure that glue is going to be able to come undone. And I'm using some floss here and trying to cut that glue underneath the spoiler. I realized that this is on there pretty good and I'm not going to be able to do that. So I thought, let me just try and peel it off a little bit. And I had a little bit of movement. And when I did notice that, I pushed up on it and it actually decided to come loose and we could just pull the whole thing off that way.
It is off. Now I gotta try and get all this glue off of here, which is probably gonna be the worst part. And I tried to tape it off a little bit so that way I could line it up better whenever I put it back on, because that's the thing that I'm most worried about is lining it up. Because you kind of only get one chance to stick it on there. And if I just get a little bit crooked, I know you could probably not tell whenever you're looking at the car, but in my brain I'm gonna be like, oh, I can't believe I put that on crooked, I gotta fix it. And looking at the car without that wing on the back there, I thought it might look a little stupid because with all the carbon on this car, you know, just is meant to look aggressive, but it actually still looks pretty good without it back there. So let me go ahead and try and get all this tape off. Once that's off, I'll put our new tape on our new spoiler and see if we can line it up just perfect. Okay, and here we have it. I was able to get like 90% of everything cleaned off the trunk here, and it actually looks pretty sweet. Okay, so here's our old one with all that nasty tape on it. And here's our new one, ready to go. I just finished putting all the tape onto there, so we're gonna mock it up.
Here we go, we got one shot to line this up and make it perfect, and I'm trying to line it up with the reference tape. And now that it's on there good, I'm putting some tape over top of it to hold it into place. And here me and my dad are, as I'm peeling it, he is pressing it down behind me, so that way it is fully seated to the trunk. After it's all pressed down, we can remove the tape, and here I am going measuring, just making sure that everything is square, and now we just have to let it sit overnight, and the tape should do its magic.
So the car literally looks the exact same because it's the same spoiler, but wow, it looks so nice now that it's perfect. There's no imperfections with it at all. Ooh, that carbon looks good. It's gotten a little dark out. But I'm gonna try and get this front lip on, and then tomorrow we can take it out, take some pictures, show you guys for real what it looks like. Okay, now step one is complete, and it sucked trying to get to this point. You also notice that it is the next day. So there was just a few more screws that we gotta undo to get this piece off. So let me flip it over. So you got screws on both sides that sit in these two holes, it's just a Phillips. And then all of these are rivets that go all across the bumper. And these are honestly what was the worst, and I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna wait till tomorrow and try again. So I took a drill and drilled them all out so that way they could just easily get pulled out. So now I just gotta take a couple more screws out and we can finally get this undone. Honestly, I don't know why it's so hard to just pull this off the front. I guess it has to stay on there for like aerodynamic purposes, and especially because this car is meant to drive fast, you don't want it to fly off. But this one's just gonna be held on with like 12 screws or something, and they're just gonna go straight into the bumper. So I don't know, there's probably a reason for it, but let's get the rest of this taken apart. Just the sheer amount of T20 screws that were in this thing blows my mind. All of these were T20s. Here's the spot where those rivets went into. There was more rivets on the side. And these were 8mm bolts. More rivets, more T20s. There's just so much. The car was just so low, I didn't look at it that closely to notice that, yeah, that whole front lip is cracked. And you know, without a front lip on it, this car looks pretty naked. It just looks like it's missing something. So that's where this is gonna come in and make the car just look so amazing. Okay, you guys, here's the M4 with all of its new carbon bits on it, and I gotta say, it looks amazing. I don't think this carbon fiber front lip could have turned out any better It just ties in with all the carbon pieces. So amazing. And even though the spoiler is pretty much the exact same thing that was on the car before, I just think with it being in perfect condition, it looks so much better. It really ties together the entire car. Because I really want this thing to look amazing, you know, be show car quality. I know the Subaru has been a little bit neglected in its lifetime, so we're trying to take steps towards fixing it. But since this one's already in good condition, we're trying to keep it there. But like I said, guys, does it not look fantastic with everything finally being carbon fiber? This thing is a race car, so it does need the race car treatment. Full carbon fiber, and there might even still be more to come. And when I get home, I have to see if I scrape on the driveway because it is a little steep, as you guys know, and this front lip sits a teeny bit lower than the last one did, and it sticks out just a tiny bit more. So we'll see. Hopefully we don't scrape. I'd hate to ruin my new carbon fiber lip, but let's go check it out. I can't wait until I finally get a place where there's like a flat driveway, just because it'd be nice whenever the cars are lowered, I could actually put them at a decent height and to not have to really account for the steep driveway if it was just a place that I could just pull straight into. So that'll be something to look forward to in the future. But it's been a minute since I drove this car. And this car just sounds so good. The feeling is so addicting. And every single time I hop in it, I really just can't believe that it's my car. I mean, I'm not really a fan of those burble tunes and stuff, but it does sound pretty good. It's a little addictive. You know, as long as it's not those big pops and bangs and stuff, I feel like, you know, a little burble's okay. Some people do get a little crazy too, where the burbles last like a whole minute after they've already let off the gas, and it's like, okay, maybe that's a little excessive. Okay, I'll probably hear it, but you guys have to let me know if I scrape. You know what, that front was pretty close, but it's actually not as close as I thought it was gonna be, which is a good thing. That also makes me more confident that whenever we do decide to go lower in this car, it won't be as bad while I'm still living here. But guys, just check it out. I know it's not a major difference compared to the last one. It doesn't stick out super far or really add a lot to it. It just really matches the carbon fiber that the rest of the car has, which is something that I greatly wanted to do with this car. And I do think that it turned out really well. It looks super nice, and I really think that, like we said, the carbon just ties in so well with everything, especially this front end. I will say that the one thing is this side does dangle down a little bit. I think the self-tapping screw is just a little bit too short for how much this bumper kind of wanted to flex a little bit, so I am going to opt to put a bolt on both sides just to make sure it stays on there really good. But there it is, guys, the new carbon fiber front lip in combination with the PSM style rear spoiler. And here's a little shot of the rear, still looking super aggressive. And now it might be easy to say that the exterior is fully complete, and I think it is 99% of the way there, except for one thing. This M4 badge is definitely on its last life. I mean, it is peeling. This is all faded. I don't even know what's going on with this thing anymore. And it is currently on the way, so we're gonna have to wait to put that on too. But the best part about YouTube is that we can skip to that moment where the part comes and we're swapping it out. This has been like a week project in the making, so much so that I lost my hair. It literally just got here today, and I've already marked up this old one, and as you can see, this is like fading, all this gloss is like peeling off of there. I even fixed everything up here with this front lip, so now it looks perfect. So our final step is just having to get this old M4 badge off and putting our new one on. So let's go ahead, take the old one off, put the new one on, and then this thing can finally be in a perfect spot, at least for the exterior. We are back here again with our blow dryer, heating up that tape that is underneath the emblem. We're cutting it with some floss, and this one's actually pretty easy to come off. First the 4 and then the M, and then we're just gonna use our 3M disc to get all that glue out from underneath the badge. Okay, this is now ready to put our new emblem on. So with our new one here, we're gonna use some of our plastic and emblem trim adhesive. I had kind of an indication this might have been over a little bit, or maybe just not in the right spot, and I figured while I'm here, let's put it in the right spot. And it kind of seems like, from what I can tell, the very bottom corner of the stripe is supposed to line up with the taillight from a bunch of these different photos that I looked at. And if you look at ours here, this is like at this point, and the M badge was the whole way over here. So it was kind of offset, kind of in where the CS badge sits, where it sits a little to the left, so the CS can fit over here. So we're gonna go ahead and move it over and put it in the right spot. So I think it'll sit somewhere about here, and then the 4 has to sit somewhere in here. So it's gonna take a little adjusting. Just one last thing to stick on the car, can't mess up here. First, the M logo goes on, and I'm just gonna put some tape over top to hold it in place, and then we gotta put the 4 on next. I know this looks like a taped up mess, but we have to let it sit for about 30 minutes, and then we'll take all this off and see how it looks. Hopefully it's good. Okay, you guys, it's finally on there the entire way, I'm a little insecure if it's going to be crooked or not, so let's check it out. I think it turned out perfect. The color's not fitting anymore. The black actually looks good. And now the rear end is fully set up. And that also means the exterior of this car is fully set, at least for right now. I think there are some more things that we can do to it that are a little more minimal, but for right now, a bunch of the major things that I wanted to do to the exterior are done. Okay, you guys, here is our final product. And wow, I could not be more impressed with how everything turned out with this car. It looks phenomenal. This new front lip honestly looks so much more aggressive from how much more it stands out, and being carbon fiber, it just looks so amazing. And now moving on to the rear here. Last time we were here, we just had the spoiler, but now we have the badge too, and it honestly just looks so much better. The striping is so much brighter. The black just looks better. That gloss isn't peeling off, and this rear end honestly looks so aggressive, and I could not be happier with how this turned out either. The combination of the carbon rear diffuser, the spoiler, the blacked out badge, I mean, all of it just works so well together. And every time I look at this car and I look at the interior, I really can't get over these seats. I mean, I'm just so happy I went with the white. I looked at red, I looked at black, and white is just so good. I am so happy that I chose this instead of one of those other colors. So here's where the M4 sits for now, guys. Thank you so much for checking this out. I'm glad that we could get all of these little bits done, and there is still more to come in the future. This car is going to be making 600 horsepower, and there are probably some bits on the inside and outside that still need some attention, but we'll wrap all those together into the next video. Like, dislike, comment, subscribe, all those things. Drop a comment down below, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!